Hey everyone, quick weekly market update. Let's break down what happened this week. This week was clearly driven by geopolitics and the spike in oil. Tensions around Iran pushed oil prices higher, raising inflation concerns and triggering a broad risk-off move across the market. We saw a sharp reaction early on, and although the sell-off eased slightly into the end of the session, the overall tone remained defensive. At the same time, we saw increased volatility, with S&P, Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq all moving lower, signaling broad market pressure. The Nasdaq was hit the hardest, down over 2%, as growth and tech names took the biggest hit. The S&P and the Nasdaq both dropped to their lowest levels in over 6 months, highlighting the overall weakness in the market. If we look at the drivers, it was a classic rotation. Energy stocks outperformed as oil moved higher, while tech and growth names lagged significantly. So we had that clear shift from growth into energy and defensive positioning. We also saw a significant move on March 26th when the U.S. stock market lost over $1 trillion in market capitalization in a single session. On the earnings side, the calendar was relatively light, but we did have a few notable names. Unity Software was one of the standout gainers, up over 13% after reporting strong preliminary results and beating expectations. We also saw Argon up around 38%, standing out as one of the biggest movers on the day. On the downside, Carnival is a good example of the current market environment. The company actually reported solid earnings, beating estimates and raising guidance, but the stock still moved lower. So again, even strong results were not enough to offset macro pressure, especially with rising oil impacting fuel costs. Now let's take a look at some of the key movers for the week. Looking at the 5-day performance, we're seeing broad weakness across large cap names. For example, Google is down around minus 9.2% over the week. If we take a look at the news panel, we actually have a clear catalyst here. On March 25th, we saw negative news, where Google, along with Meta, was held accountable in a social media addiction case. So this adds additional pressure on the stock, especially from a regulatory standpoint. Another strong mover is Micron, down around minus 12%. And here we also have a catalyst. Despite reporting very strong earnings, the stock has been selling off since the release. So this is a classic example of a post-earnings reaction, where strong results were already priced in, and the stock continues to move lower after the report. Another strong mover is Microsoft, down around minus 12.6% over the week. Looking at the bigger picture, the stock is now approaching one of its worst quarters since 2008, down roughly minus 24% in Q1 2026. And in situations like this, when the setup isn't completely clear or you want a second opinion, I usually turn to the chat. This is where we discuss ideas, share setups, and get different perspectives on what's happening in the market. So let me quickly show you how the chat works inside the platform. Here you can see different channels: bronze, silver, gold, support, so you can choose the one that matches your level or what you're looking for. To send a message, you just type in the box below and press enter. You can also attach charts or images by clicking the plus icon or simply dragging them into the message box. Under each message, you'll see a few useful options. You can edit or delete your message, reply directly in the chat, or start a thread, and also use reaction emojis for quick feedback. So everything is pretty straightforward. It just helps keep conversations organized and easy to follow. Thank you for watching. Subscribe or sign up to our research, and don't forget to do your own